Sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go on the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed, and y'all shall lead them
to buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. We are on to song numero 5.
Yes. Okay. Anna von hausswolff.
Anna von hausswolff.
That's pretty close.
hausswolff.
The mysterious vanishing of Electra. All right.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So we have the lyrics right up there.
Vanishing of Electra. Fun fact about this song. This song was co-written by Dwayne Chamberlain. There you go. And if
been busy.
If you guys want proof, I've got the proof right there. Your Grace, where are the rest of the...
So if you scroll, just go above it and then scroll. Yeah, there you go.
I see.
There you are.
The Mysterious Vanishing of Electra is the name of the song. Mm-hmm. We have the lyrics. She has the voice. And we shall do it. Her name is Anna von hausswolff.
The Mysterious Vanishing of Electra. Let's go.
Feeling that. I'm feeling that.
was really good. That was really good. Those notes that she was hitting, the mystery of this song, probably because, I mean, maybe it's part of like an album, maybe everything would be really clear, but I liked how it was like, well, the title, The Mysterious Vanishing of Electra, but it kind of had some mystery in the sound of the song. And in her, what she was doing with her vocals, like some of the stuff sounded like if you prettied up some of the vocal exercises, like the going up and like kind of like letting it like kind of go off.
Oh, those drills.
Yeah, it sounded like those drills, but it looked like she incorporated that into her, like somebody that uses like exercise movements and then uses those movements to speed them up and cast them a little differently to create a dance.
That happens on guitar. Like this is a scale, a regular scale, and then
yeah,
you're like, that
that's
actually
right.
works.
You said that, yeah. So you could see, so that's what it reminded me of in there, but like she kind of like, she did some, like her vocals were going, and then like at the end, she like changed it so it kind of had like, I don't know, this is hopefully not insulting, but it kind of had like a witchy sound to it, like when she was like, going off, and that was such an interesting.
She was definitely going for that.
Yeah, it was like
definitely going for that effect.
Yeah, okay,
100%.
It definitely had that like. It was very interesting. I had never seen that before. I've done things like that when I practice vocals. I think that that's kind of an interesting way of doing vocals. But it was cool to hear that like done. And the heights that she hit with her voice was wow. Especially at the end there.
Yeah. Well, that was one thing. I was like, I want to see her do that live. Although it was a live record. It sounded like that song was a
sounded live
record.
to me.
So
it absolutely sounded live to me.
I forgot the name of that song, where it was about the dogs and it was about that serial killer girl, that lady. It was the Anarchy 99.
Yeah,
selection.
are you talking about the one that she was like a vigilante? She would kill men to kind of like reverse that because she was protecting women, like. The Arrow one?
No. It was the monster. It was the woman was a serial killer. Anyway.
Shoot. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. No, like, I don't remember.
That band, that like her vocal style was just like, I am the.
Yeah, that's right.
It like
forgot about that song.
There's a lot of like, thank you so much for that, Dev. That like. Powerful voice. It's kind of like Lord of the Rings, where I think Galadriel is her name.
Yes.
When she's like,
I don't know if that's her name.
When she was like talking about like what could happen. Kate Blanchett was playing the role. Like what could happen if she would. I am gonna be like that. To me is like evil. But the whole I'll get you my like that doesn't sound. But to me, like that's like peak feminine power. Like you can tell that's a woman, but that is a really powerful woman, and it, like she said, like
don't get in her
I have
crosshairs.
some fucking spell. You better,
you
know. Yeah. Well, she brought up a spell thing. I'm like, how dare you in Jesus' name, or something like that. But like, if I wasn't on my game and she didn't make it spiritual, then I'd be afraid. Of it.
She didn't make it spiritual, right? If she brings that up, you'd be like, I know what's happening.
Yeah. I'd figure this shit, but it's just. It's that vocal style, man, is like really lingua ignota, whatever it was.
Yeah.
But like that woman, like when she did, and that's the reason that song was so freaking disturbing to me, bro. Was like if she would have done like the squealy pig thingy in that song, the Ignota song, I'd been like, yeah, okay, that's cool. I've heard that before. Like that's one of the things that excites me about your vocal style. Like
right there, if the poison won't take you, my dogs will. Yeah. That's why you said dogs. Yeah. Okay.
But that's like. One of the things about your style, like when I hear you or whatever, it's like it's very dramatic. Like it's extremely dramatic.
Yeah, I like drama.
And like but like I love that because like the industry is just jam packed. And like once in a while on the song where it's like it comes out like on this song, like she only did it like once or twice. To me, that's like more powerful because it's like. You're trying to conceal that you're a demon, but it slipped out. Versus just, hey, everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, come on, bro. Like, really? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, I'm I'm not a vocalist, but that's one of the things that I'd try to do, like, as a vocalist. Like, I would search for some way to make it cool and metal, but not the Cookie Monster stuff, because it's just, it's like oversaturated.
No, I agree.
Especially if it's a woman with, like, a crazy-ass voice, man.
Yeah.
Like, that to me is, like, the peak right there. Like, I'm like, ah!
Inshallah.
Like, women, like, when they get it in metal, man, it's like it's unbelievable. It's like, it's crazy. It's so fun. But yeah, like the way she did her voice, man, I was like, shit, I gotta hear that shit live. But again,
I think it really did have a live sound to it. Yep.
What did you think the song was about?
Well, again, I wasn't sure if we're like kind of in some universe, some world where if we knew the whole album, we'd know. To me, like I said, it had a bit of mystery to it. Yeah. Because she says, my feet are not enough, which is kind of interesting. Oh, to save me. His search is not enough. Oh, to find me. My love is not enough to save me. And then she says, you search through the forest and the bottomless sea and you cry. Push the trees, push the sky, push the air aside. You look at their faces and their meaningless loss and you cry, who is she? Who is she? Who is she to say goodbye? So it definitely had some mystery kind of to it because it wasn't super clear. I didn't know if she was something that had come around them and then she was leaving, but then they were saying, who is she to say goodbye? Like they didn't want her to leave. I don't know. It wasn't very clear to me, to be honest with you, what the song is about.
Well, it was mysterious disappearance, the mysterious vanishing of
Electra.
So, like, you could say in the first half of the song, she's incarnating as Electra.
I mean, her feet are not enough to say. Maybe she's running, because we're talking about the forest. Maybe she was running through the forest, and she's saying they're not enough to save her. Because if you had bare feet running through the forest, it would be like a really painful experience. And then she says, his search is not enough to find me. So somebody's coming to find her, and she's running through the forest. So even though her feet are not going to carry her, the search is not strong enough to be able to find her. But then she says, my love is not enough to save me.
Yeah, I think this is probably about...
Maybe it's my love as a person.
About an abused woman who probably ends up dying at the hands of her abuser.
Oh my gosh.
So she's running away from him, but her feet aren't enough to save her. And then obviously he is trying to find her, but he's also reaching a limit. And I would say that limit is literal and metaphorical. His search is not enough. Like, in the interim, he can't find her, but he could never really find her, which is probably the reason why he did what he did. I'm filling in blanks here. So, my love is not enough to save me. Because we talked about this before. Like, a lot of abused women, like, they'll think if they just love the guy enough, then that'll stop him from doing all this stuff. She ends up disappearing, and then it's you search through the forest and the bottomless sea, and you cry, and you push the trees, you push the sky, you push the air aside, you look at their faces and their meaningless loss, and you cry, who is she to say goodbye? So it looks to me like it's...
Or maybe there's like a...
Go ahead.
Maybe there's like a love triangle that's going on. Maybe the feet are not enough is the woman. His search is not enough to find me is the person that she was like in a relationship with, and my love is the person that maybe she was like cheating with. So the guy is searching for her. Maybe he's like angry that she did that or whatever. Her feet are not enough to save her through the woods, but her love, the guy that she like was like cheating with, is not enough to save her either.
So you're taking the love as another person.
Yeah, my love as a person.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't take it that. I just took it as. He's a bad dude. Love? He's a bad dude, and her ability to
love him to change him out of it.
Yeah, a lot of abused women think that. They'll think, "Oh, I'll just love him out of out of his abusive thing." Because a lot of times when the guys are abusive, they'll end up blaming the person.
Yep.
They'll say, everything be fine if you would just XYZ.
Yeah.
And so they blame the person. Yep. So then if the person accepts that, it's a lie. But if they accept it, then they get in this carousel believing that their love is going to be able to stop whatever craziness is happening.
Which is
and
almost a lie.
She ends up dead, I think. And, you know, I think it's societal commentary, like, society will just sit there and let this happen, and you'll cry about it or whatever, but in reality, they're meaningless to you.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
You look at their faces and their meaningless loss, and you cry. Who is she to say goodbye? So it just looks to me like, because a lot of times, like with abused women, especially with abused women, like it's there. Like, you know, like after a while, people know what's happening. Like, I remember very specifically, like, this one girl at work, like, we all knew, like, her boyfriend was whatever, and it'd be like, you know, she had a black eye, whatever. I called her in the office, I was like, gee, what's going on with your eye? Oh, I fell down the stairs, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, like, that's not what the fuck happened, but what am I going to do? Am I going to say, you're lying? But, like, it's a weird situation.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit different because I was a kid of an abused mom. So... But people wouldn't even ask her that question.
Yep.
They wouldn't even ask her that question. She's like, you're the only person that's like has a, you know, she threw on the attitude thing with me, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, just go ahead. And she just left the office, you know, whatever. But it's like, a lot of times when like that crazy shit is happening to women, there's somebody that knows. There's somebody that knows. There's somebody that saw something. Somebody that, I'm going to say it, Dana White, UFC dude, like, he just got caught on camera smacking his wife. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, like, he put out a little letter. She put out a letter. Oh, I apologize. You guys had to see that, blah, 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 blah.
What?
And everybody's, I mean, they were both fighting.
She apologized that people had to see it?
She was drunk, right? So, like...
Oh, she's talking about the whole event, not him hitting her.
The whole event. And, you know, it wasn't like he was, like, he didn't elbow drop. But at the same... But, you know how I am. Like, oh, you put your hand on a girl. Like, you're out. But, like, my point is, like, that's not going to affect him. Like... Everybody's just gonna move on, like, you know what I'm saying. So it's a crazy thing. I'm not saying like, hey, they can go to counseling and figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a very busy guy. I'm sure there's a lot of strains on their relationship. I'm not saying like, but for me, it's just like, I don't know. There's a lot of times where you look at shit that happened to women in our culture, and you know, it's like. Now all of a sudden everybody hates on Epstein. It's like all those people knew what that guy was doing, bro. Mm-hmm. Like, even if you weren't on the list, like, that doesn't exonerate you. Like, so on the one hand, like, we'll never say that women are meaningless in this culture. We'll never say that, but like,
but the actions are like, communicating something.
It's just like what Pony talks about a lot with these indigenous people. Like, these girls are like disappearing in the hundreds every fucking year, and it doesn't even make the news.
Right.
Like, I had a lot of like my white friends were, you know, I forgot the girl's name. For God forgive me, but the two
Gabrielle,
yeah, whatever, you know, right? And like, she ended up missing, and there was so much of an outcry. Yeah. And people were like, this is horrible. She's a human being. It doesn't matter if she's white and blah, blah, blah. People weren't getting it. It's like, yeah, I understand it. The problem is that there's hundreds of situations like this with these indigenous girls. They just fucking disappear. And it doesn't matter. But of course, none of us would say it doesn't matter. Right. But our actions and the way that we, you know, we don't do anything. We're around an abused woman. We don't say anything. You know, people... We've seen situations where girls getting abused in the broad daylight. Nobody says anything. So nobody does anything. So it's like, oh, you know, you're crying, you're doing all this, but you look at their faces and their meaningless loss and you cry. It's what it looks like to me. It's just like, nobody cares. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just, we truly...
Right, you search... So you're saying when they're searching for her because she was already killed?
Right, she's already
You search through the forest and the bottomless sea and you cry.
Yeah.
Push the trees, push the sky, push the air aside.
Right.
You look at their faces and their meaningless loss and you cry. So then she's looking back at them and realizing that they're all doing this, but it's all meaningless because they don't really feel it.
I think women are abandoned in this country, by and large. And, you know, it's like I always say, it's like to the girl, like, oh, this dude all of a sudden cares about you now because he's like, oh, pro-choice, you know, like, oh my God, look what happened to Roe v. Wade. It was hilarious. It was crazy because TYT was doing a review of Herschel Walker because, you know, Herschel Walker had all those, there was one situation where he drove the girl to the clinic. she couldn't do it. And then he drove her back the next day and camped out and made sure she did it. Big millionaire, strong black football player. This girl's poor, whatever. Complete power dynamic there. And
got her the medicine and never saw her again.
He drove her there the second day and said, I'm going to stay in the parking lot till you get this shit done. And the guys at TYT were saying, it was crazy because Anna was out. The guys at TYT were saying, look how horrible this guy is. And then they said, now if you were on our side, we would allow you to be horrible. So he was saying, this guy sucks, not because he forced the girl to get an abortion. He sucks because he was able to do it, but he doesn't want to let you have the ability to do that to your... And they literally says, like, that's a really scummy thing to do, but in our world, we would let you be scummy. It was unbelievable.
That's
so, like,
crazy.
Women have no friends in this country. Like,
wow.
The main players and the main voices about women, particularly from the male side, none of them give a flying fuck about women. Like, at all. Like, there was, especially black women. For Cori Bush, she talked about the 2 abortions that she had. And she talked about how she told the guy no. And she told the nurse no. And they did it anyway. She said they put the instrument in me, which is great. They put the instrument in me and they killed her child. And then she said, you know, so my point is, women are like completely abandoned in this country. People, like, if women that think that they have male allies in this, okay, if they're not fighting against sex trafficking and all this shit, like, I don't want to hear it. Like, you see this Andrew Tate guy, I guess he got G'd up in Romania, whatever, and they initially said it was for sex trafficking or whatever. But it's like, do you honestly think that even if that was a legit charge, that dude would lose his fan base?
Yeah, right.
That's, I mean, again, everybody knows I'm not a never Trumper, but we elected Donald Trump in this country after the grab him by the junk line.
Yep.
And forget all the hysteria about Trump. Just normal politics. Like, we saw a documentary on a guy that ruined his political career because he made a sound too loud. Remember that one?
So I forgot like that.
That was it.
It was it. It was over for him.
Every single presidential cycle, there was always that thing. Like, when's it going to come out? Who's going to come out and say X, Y? It was like that should have completely destroyed him. He was dead to rights on audio, and it didn't.
Nope.
Like, so if you're a woman and you really truly believe that you have allies in this country, like, for the most part, you do not. You don't. I'm sorry. They will pretend that they care. And, of course, after the whole Roe decision got passed, vasectomies went through the roof.
If that's
not
true,
about this song's not about abortion to me, but to me it's ultimately about how abandoned women are in Western culture.
Yeah, yes, but at the same time, think about this: if it's true that 80% of women are going for 20% of the men, if that stopped. And instead they went for the 80% of the men that are supposedly virgins till they're 30 or whatever, if that's true. Yeah. Let's say you did that. If a bunch of women got the influence of because right now what you have is a bunch of men that are, okay, if there are men in their 30s that are still virgins, they're probably feeling bitter at this point about it. Yeah. So they're going to vote a certain way, right?
Yeah.
But if the women spread out and married these guys and started a life with each other, and everybody, you know, like they were married, they're happy together, they're going to influence their vote. And things would change differently for us. So I don't know, like maybe if we as a whole like said, okay, the system's a little fucked up, things are not really working for us, what can we do?
Are you talking about women?
Yeah, as like women as a whole. If they, because obviously this 80-20% thing is not working for us. Like, if that's really true, the 80% of the women are going for 20% of the guys.
That's not new. That's not
No,
new.
it's not. But it would be new if that 80% of the women that usually go for that 20% actually said, you know what? Let me find somebody that we're compatible and we can do life together. And then a bunch of people, because then you have the whole, if they're married, their income is better, like their life can be better for people if they get married. So if you had a whole bunch of people doing that, then you switch it, so all the votes that are usually influenced by guys in their 30s that are still virgins, that are probably maybe going to vote more in a misogynistic way.
But there's that whole thing
What?
about passport bros, where Dethroner's talking about it.
What?
Most American men don't want American females. They go overseas to find a wife. And Dethroner's like, yeah, Pakistan, bro. Like,
right,
that's
right,
the thing.
because that is a thing, because men, a lot of times they're looking to they want to build, like they hit a point in their life, they want to build, they want to have a family, they want to do something, and they want a woman that's going to go beside them and do that. But a lot of women have been getting this messaging that if you're like, I don't need a man, or you're all independent woman, like that's the way you should be. But that's not.
Well, see, that's the thing, is like, so
that's why they're going overseas. They want that traditional.
That 80-20 rule isn't going to solve that.
No,
problem,
it's not. That is a problem.
Those Pakistani women are still going to go for the top 20% if that guy's available.
Yep.
So it's there's something wrong with the template.
Yep.
There's something wrong with what it means to be a woman.
Yep.
And what it
I
means
agree.
to be a man.
Yep.
And but this song to me though is about the abandonment of women and like by society as a whole. And then that last line, who is she to say goodbye? So it looks like maybe she offed herself, maybe she unalived herself, and like instead of saying, holy shit, look at this fucked up situation that drove her to this horrible circumstance, instead they're saying, how dare she exercise any sort of autonomy whatsoever. So the last thing that they're complaining about is the fact that she exercised some autonomy. Some self-determination.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. I thought it
wasn't like, let's say she killed herself, or let's say that she just disappeared. Instead of saying, what are the horrible circumstances, it's the same thing with abortion. It's like, when you're talking to people on our side, it's the woman has to be characterized as this evil person, worst person in the world, whore, blah, blah, blah. And like, she's just skipping into the clinic, and it's like, there's no question about, well, what are the social circumstances that keeps putting these girls in this situation, and can we address that?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Which obviously is not going to settle the issue for both sides, but it would surely bring a lot of relief to a lot of people. But we can't even have that conversation.
Nope.
Because like, we cannot humanize, like there was this bit, I was looking at archiving my old emails, and I wrote this like 20-page thing to one of the heads of one of the bigwigs, like you'd know their name, and I was trying to say that we should include victimization language for women getting abortions. Like, we should not characterize that. And it was like this big thing, and I had to have all these Bible. I'm like, this is just fucking common
20
sense.
pages
It's common sense
to say
and
that.
And of course,
yeah.
we're working with somebody who was literally trafficked. She would get pregnant. He would bring her to the clinic and then put her back on the street. So like, I'm trying to, and like the crazy thing is, everybody knew this person's story because it wasn't a very big. It's a very small subculture. People going outside. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would just clear like, nope, we got to characterize them all this way. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, wow. Meanwhile, we have somebody on the team who's. I mean, we were on her team, but you know how religious people go with male authority and all this. It was just crazy to me. Like, yo, dude, like so women are like completely abandoned. Like, I feel so bad for them when I see these mealy mouth pro-choice guys. Like, oh yeah, pro-choice, you're fucking. Okay, let's put out a bill to eradicate the porn industry because of all the sex trafficking and destruction that's brought up. Let's see how pro-women they are when a ballot like that comes up. You know what I'm saying? Like so to me, it just felt like just the entire abandonment that women that women go through.
Yeah, no, you're right. And some of the things that we saw, like I remember that time that girl she came by, I was talking to her, I was trying to tell her like that, there was other options and we could help her out and stuff, and she stopped and she turned around and she looked at me, and like the guy that was with her literally put hands on her and pushed her into the clinic.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Literally pushed her in, and then he turned around and looked at me and told me to shut the F up.
Yeah.
And I was like,
real tough guy.
Wait a minute. So like when you look at situations like that, it's like, yeah, who is this for? You know,
Yeah.
or when you sit down and you talk with somebody who did have an abortion and they regret that decision, and it's a decision that they can't reverse, and like they have to work through the feelings and the emotions and everything that isn't in that. I mean, it was a life. There's going to be some
space delver, crazy.
It's
going to
be,
government in America has become the husband of American women. Ooh.
Yeah, they said that was the point. Like, I was reading something and they were saying that was what the government was shooting for. And that's what's happened. That's why I don't know if it was true where I was reading it from, because I couldn't tell you but they were talking about that, and they were saying how they wanted to set it up that women would go to the government rather than relying on a man, and so then the government has more control.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's what happened to black women, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. That's why all the black ladies voted for Joe Biden. all the brothers are like, what the fuck? This thing, look what he did to us. Some black man, fuck you. He gonna write us a check. That's what they said. Plus, a white lady on the news told me Trump was racist. Don't let me start. I'm feeling spicy today, boy. All right. Why are you streaming at 1 a.m.?
Why are you streaming?
We're just getting started in this bitch because we're committed.
Yeah, I know. We're only halfway into the stream.
We are committed, JG.
All right.
All right.
This is a 9.9 for me.
This is a solid 9 for me. A solid 9 for me. We are coming right back at you, beautiful people, with more reviews on the way. Vin out.
Sorry, out.
Go. Because we're nocturnal creatures.